today we are going to read a very important topic from this chapter of the molecular basis of inheritance, which is called the transcription. Now the transcription, at first we should know what is the meaning of transcription. Transcription means the copying of the RNA from one of the strands of the DNA. Now the strand of the DNA from which the RNA is copied, that is called the template strand. So for the transcription, a particular segment of the DNA is selected. Although in case of prokaryotes, since they have only one chromosome, so that is transcribed at a time. But as far as the eukaryotes are concerned, they have many chromosomes. So the segment of the gene which is required to be transcribed is selected, and that has three particular regions in it. Now what is this three particular region in a transcription unit? These are a promoter region, a structural gene which has to be transcribed, for which the protein has to be prepared, and a terminator region. And both the promoter and the terminator region is again flanked by a non-coding region. Okay, that is the untranscribed region. We call it as UTR region. Just after the promoter and just after the structural gene finishes, before the terminator, there is that UTR region. Now these three regions, if you want to understand more properly, let us take the example of a particular segment of the DNA. As we know, the DNA is complementary. That means one strand is 3' to 5' polarity and another one is 5' to 3' polarity. The RNA polymerase, which is the responsible, that is the enzyme for the transcription process, is also the one which will be able to do the transcription process in the 5' to 3' direction. That means what? It needs the DNA, the template DNA, in the direction or in the polarity which is in the 3' to 5' direction. So if this two are the two strands of the DNA, then if this one is 3' to 5' direction and this one is the 5' to 3' direction, then always the that is the strand of the DNA which is in the polarity 3' to 5', that will act as a template strand. Okay, and the other one is considered as a coding strand. Now it is called a coding strand. Why? Because the mRNA which will be produced as a result of the that is the DNA strand which is of the polarity to 3' to 5', it will be producing the mRNA having the same base sequence what is present in case of 5' to 3'. Okay, but there is some variation. What is the variation? In case of RNA, the nitrogen base thymine is replaced by uracil. So whatever will be the base sequence in the 5' to 3' strand, it will be the same in case of the mRNA which will be produced as a result of the that is the DNA template which is 3' to 5' direction. See, always the DNA two strands are complementary to each other. They are not the identical copies of each other. So whatever will be the base pairs in the 3' to 5' direction, whatever will be the base pairs, the complementary base pairing will be taking place with respect to the formation of the mRNA, and the complementary base pairs are where? These are found in the coding strand of the, that is your the next DNA strand. But as it is mRNA, so instead of thymine, it will be replaced by uracil. Otherwise, all other bases which are present in the 5' to 3' direction, it will remain the same. So in the examination, if a question comes that you are given a template strand and the base sequences of the template strand, and you are asked to write down the mRNA sequence of that is your with respect to the template strand, then if the base sequences of 5' to 3' direction is given to you, what you need to do is that the same thing which is present in case of 5' to 3', you can write the same thing, except for the thymine you will be replacing it with uracil. Okay, so whatever things are assigned or are talked about for the transcription unit is always with respect to this coding strand, although this is not coding anything, because for the RNA polymerase always it can only produce RNA strand in the 5' to 3' direction, and when it will be 5' to 3' direction, it needs a template strand of the DNA which is in the 3' to 5' polarity. Okay, now this mRNA which is produced, as a result of transcription, it is not a ready mRNA. In case of prokaryotes, it does not need any processing. It is produced and it can be utilized within the same time, as because in case of the prokaryotes there is no separate region of nucleus and there is no separate region of cytoplasm. So whatever things are happening within that is the nucleoid, that is the transcription is happening simultaneously, it is also translated into proteins. But in case of eukaryotes, what happens is that the transcription takes place in the nucleus of a cell. But after the transcription has taken place, now the mRNA which is produced, it is not a ready mRNA. That means it is having various regions which are having the non-functional, that is your genes. That means it is having some non-functional which will not be coding for any kind of protein. So those non-functional regions has to be spliced, has to be removed. Now those non-functional regions which are produced, they are called as your introns, and the section or the segment of the gene which will be functional gene rather, they will be called as your exons. So introns are spliced by the help of spliceosome enzyme, and the exons are ligated, and now there will be a capping and a tailing. Capping and tailing is necessary. The reason is because if they do not have a cap and a tail, then as you know that RNA is liable to be attacked by the various enzymes present in the cytoplasm, and it will be denatured or degraded before being translated into protein. So to protect it from the catalytic actions of the other enzymes present in the cytoplasm, the mRNA which is produced after splicing, it needs a capping and a tailing. Now how is this capping done? By the help of a methylated phosphorylated guanine, which is an unusual base pairs. So it is called as your MGPP, okay, methylated guanosine triphosphate. Okay, that will make the capping of the mRNA, which is the ready mRNA. And similarly, it will have a poly A tail. Now what is this poly A tail? That means it will be having very long stretch of the adenine base at the end after that is your termination of the mRNA has taken place. Now once it is produced, now this mRNA containing the functional genes will be coming out through the nuclear pore into the cell cytoplasm, and in the cell cytoplasm, in presence of the ribosome subunits which will be now binding to form the functional ribosome, now the mRNA, when it will be passing through the tunnel of the ribosome, it will be creating the sites, that is the polypeptide site, then that amino acyl site, then it will be producing the regions which is required by the tRNA to come recognize and bind with this, and then the polypeptide chain will be produced, and finally when the protein is produced, that protein can be utilized for any kind of that is chemical reactions, catalysis, or for the process of cell repairing or any other things which the cell requires it to be doing it. Okay, so that's the basic difference between the transcription of the prokaryotes and the transcription of the eukaryotes. In case of prokaryotes, since there is no specific region of nucleus and cytoplasm, so whenever the transcription is happening, the transcription takes place within the cell cytoplasm itself, and there itself the process of translation begins. Sometimes it is seen that before the transcription is completed, before that only the translation also keeps on starting. Whereas in case of eukaryotes, since they have a number of chromosomes, so it's a little bit complicated compared to that of the prokaryotes, and DNA dependent RNA polymerase here is of three types in case of eukaryotes, that is RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2 and RNA polymerase 3. RNA polymerase 2 is the one which helps in the process of the transcription in case of eukaryotes, and this RNA polymerase in case of prokaryotes when the initiation starts of the transcription, there is one factor which is called sigma factor. It comes and binds with it, and then it starts the process of transcription. Once it reaches to the end, that is the termination point, then there is another factor which will come and bind with it, which is called the Rho factor. And once it will be coming to the termination, then that is the RNA polymerase and the Rho factor will be dissociating from each other, and now that is your mRNA strand is ready for the process of translation in case of prokaryotes. Whereas in case of eukaryotes, just as I told you that the RNA polymerase 2, it starts the process of initiation, and then the exon, intron, this is called a split gene. This is known as the split gene concept. Okay, so this is produced, and after this it is produced, the introns which are non-functional, they are removed, they are spliced. You can see here they are removed, and then after they are removed, now the exons are joined together, and then there is a capping in the, that is the 5' end by the help of methylated guanosine triphosphate, and there is a tailing at the 3' end, that is your poly A tail. That means a stretch of almost 200 that is your nucleotides containing the base pair, which is the adenosine, and that will result into that is a ready mRNA, which now will move from that of the cell nucleus to that of the cell cytoplasm. So this is all about your transcription in case of your both prokaryotes and that of the eukaryotes. Now in case of the RNA, as we know that it has both the functions, catalytic functions also, it has various other metabolic functions also, as well as it is acting as a genetic material. In case of eukaryotes, the RNA polymerase, it is seen there is clear-cut division of labor. That means RNA polymerase is divided into 3 types: RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2 and RNA polymerase 3. RNA polymerase 1 is the that is your RNA which is responsible for the transcription of ribosomal RNA. Okay, and the RNA polymerase 2 is responsible for the process of transcription, that is for the production of the mRNA, and the RNA polymerase 3 is responsible for the transcription of your transfer RNA. So there is a clear-cut division of labor, and as a result the work proceeds in a systematic manner in case of the eukaryotic cell. Now sometimes a question comes that why is it that both the strands of the DNA do not produce mRNA? The reason is very simple, because you see, first of all, the RNA polymerase is having DNA dependent RNA polymerase is always coding that is your one of the DNA strand which is in the direction 3' to 5'. So then question can arise to your mind that, ma'am, if it will be binding itself in this direction, in the here this is upstream with respect to coding strand, this promoter region where the RNA polymerase will be binding, that is called the upstream region with respect to the 5' to 3' direction, and the terminator region is in the downstream 3' to 5' direction. So the opposite, if the RNA polymerase comes and binds in this 3', and then it transcribes this strand of the DNA, it can do so. But for doing this, if this DNA strand is transcribed in this opposite direction 3' to 5', and this 3' to 5' direction DNA strand is also transcribed, then RNA will also form complementary base pairing. So if RNA forms a complementary base pairing, again they will bind with each other, so there will be no translation of protein, isn't it? And suppose even if it is so happening that it is producing a separate mRNA and this one is also producing a separate mRNA, so for a specific phenotype or for a specific function to perform, if there are two functional proteins or if there are two functional enzymes, then the process of metabolism or the process of functioning of the cell or the body will become a complicated process. So to avoid that complication, always only one strand of the DNA is transcribed, and which is having the polarity 3' to 5', not the other strand of the DNA which is of the polarity to 5' to 3'. It is rare, but generally it is always from the strand which is 3' to 5'. With respect to that strand only, which is called the template strand, the mRNA is synthesized. Okay, so this is all about your transcription. The transcription unit, what are the various regions of a transcription unit, how does the transcription takes place in case of prokaryotes, and how does the transcription takes place in case of eukaryotes. And one more thing, since in case of prokaryotes I told you that the entire DNA is replicated also and transcribed also and translated also together, and before the transcription is finished the translation starts there. So since there are many proteins which are produced with respect to the entire DNA strand, so that type of that is gene is known as your polycistronic gene. Whereas in case of eukaryote, since a particular segment is selected, and with respect to that only the structural genes which are present in with respect to that regions are actually transcribed, so it is called as your monocistronic type of transcription. Okay, so this is the basic difference between that of the prokaryotes and that of the eukaryotes.